Welcome back to Accessible Gourmet. Today we're doing focaccia bread with a floral art motif. In a small bowl, mix 1 cup of lukewarm water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. Mix this up and set it aside for 5 minutes or until the yeast becomes foamy. In a separate bowl, spoon and level 5 cups of all-purpose flour or bread flour, whatever you have on hand. I'm using bread flour. It's important to spoon and level so we can get a light and airy focaccia bread. In the bowl of a stand mixer, add in your yeast mixture and 1 cup of flour. Mix this on low until combined. Next, we're going to add in 1 cup of lukewarm water, 1/4 cup of olive oil, as well as 2 more cups of flour. Mix until combined. Also add in 1 teaspoon of salt. Now add in the rest of your flour and continue mixing until it pulls away from the sides or bounces back to the touch. If you find your dough is too sticky, add more flour a tablespoon at a time. Transfer your dough to a well-oiled bowl, cover, and let rest for 2 hours or until doubled in size. Once your dough is doubled, we're going to oil a 17 by 12 inch baking sheet. I would recommend putting down a sheet of parchment first because I had an issue getting the focaccia off the pan once it was cooked, but I didn't do that. Next time I'll definitely do that. But once everything is oiled, you're going to take all of your dough and try to spread it to the corners of the pan and to the edges. If it doesn't want to stretch and it keeps bouncing back, walk away for 15 minutes to let the glutens relax, and then come back and try it again. Once everything is stretched, we're going to cover it and let it ferment in the fridge for 24 hours. So on the day of baking, you want to take out your dough and let it cool down to room temperature for half an hour. Meanwhile, we're going to take some salt. I couldn't find my Malden salt, which is a flaky salt, but I have Florida Sal, so I just substituted it with that. Chop up some rosemary and mix this together. We're going to use this to sprinkle all over the top of the focaccia. There are many different tools that you can use to cut up your vegetables. I pulled out my veggie knife, an X-Acto blade, my peeler, a smaller paring knife, some biscuit cutters, and some frosting tips. You might not use all of these, but you might, so just pull out what you have. Then we're going to clean and prep all of our vegetables that we're going to decorate the top of the focaccia with. I'm using tomatoes, mushrooms, black olives, scallions, snap peas, parsley, and I planned out this on Photoshop, this little mock-up. Not that I think it's going to turn out exactly like that, but at least it gives me kind of a blueprint of what I'd like to do. But here I am just cutting things out. I found the X-Acto knife was the best tool to use because it was exact, for lack of a better description. Tomato skins make beautiful roses, so take your paring knife and carefully peel off the skin of the tomato, and then just roll it up into a rose shape or a flower shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just, use your imagination. This is where you get to be creative. So after your dough comes to room temperature and has rested, we're going to oil up our hands and poke a bunch of holes into the surface of the dough. Then we're going to sprinkle olive oil all over the top of it, making sure to get into those nooks and crannies. And then take our rosemary salt and sprinkle it all over the top. We're going to let this rest for another half an hour while we continue to prep our vegetable decorations. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. It's pick the colors that you like, pick the vegetables that you like, lay out designs. You can change it up. Nothing is set in stone. I'm using parsley leaves here to act as the leaves of the flowers. Make sure to pick off any of the parsley leaves that are sitting up, because those are going to burn faster than the rest of everything is going to cook. Then lay out your pattern. Again, be creative, let your artistic side come out, and yeah, just create something that you think is beautiful. I try to use references for flowers that are seasonal in the fall. So with the shallots, I'm trying to make a dahlia. Was I successful? I don't know, but I like how it turned out, and I think it resembles a dahlia. It's not perfect, but again, nothing is, and this should be fun and enjoyable and relaxing. Oh, I should mention to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Once your decorating is complete, we're going to drizzle this with more olive oil on top so the vegetables don't burn while they're baking. And we're going to pop this in the oven and bake it for 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. And don't throw away the scraps. Throw them in a pot with some water and salt and turn it into a veggie stock. Once your focaccia is golden brown, take it out of the oven, put it on a baker's rack and let it cool down. Once the bread is cooled for 5 minutes, drizzle it with a little bit more olive oil. It's going to soak into the bread and just be absolutely delicious. And there it is, my floral motif focaccia bread. My apologies for the angles of this camera. I didn't realize my lens would zoomed in. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you make it. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, click the like button. If you loved it, subscribe because I put out new videos every week. Until next time, happy cooking.